Okay, y'all, stop everything you're doing. Put down your avocado toast, pause that cat video, because the internet has a new main character. OpenAI just dropped GPT-5, and everyone is acting like it's the biggest thing since sliced bread, or maybe since that one time we all tried to make sourdough starters. They promised us the smartest, fastest, most useful model yet, and the hype train left the station at full speed. This is supposed to be the AI that finally does our laundry, writes our emails, and maybe even figures out what to watch on Netflix. It's the dawn of a new era, the beginning of the robot revolution. Or at least, that's what the press release said. The announcement hit the web, and suddenly my entire feed was just GPT-5 this and GPT-5 that. It was like the whole world collectively decided to get a new, super intelligent digital roommate without asking if it was cool first. This new AI promises to be a genius in coding, math, writing, and even health advice, which is great because I've been using WebMD to diagnose a paper cut. OpenAI claims it's way better at following instructions and won't just tell you you're right all the time, a feature my parents could definitely use. It's supposed to be a massive leap forward, a true game changer in the world of artificial intelligence. But here's the tea, and it's piping hot. The launch has been, well, let's call it bumpy. It's like when you order a fancy new gadget and it arrives with the batteries not included and the instructions in a language you don't understand. Sam Altman from OpenAI even admitted the rollout was a little rockier than they hoped. For a moment, the AI seemed dumber than its older siblings, which is like your genius brother showing up to a family dinner and forgetting how to use a fork. So, while we were all expecting a flawless superbrain, we got something that was a little more human. And by human, I mean occasionally brilliant and occasionally very, very confused. So, the big question on everyone's mind is whether this is the beginning of our AI-powered utopia or just another tech launch with a few hilarious hiccups. Are we on the verge of having robot butlers, or are we just beta testing a very expensive spell checker? The truth, as it turns out, is somewhere in the middle. We've been given this powerful new tool that's part Einstein, part toddler who can't count. It's a wild ride, and we're all just trying to figure out if we should be amazed or just laugh. Let's buckle up and see what this new digital brain is all about. All right, let's break down how this thing actually works, because it's got more layers than my last attempt at making lasagna. GPT-5 isn't just one single brain, it's more like a dynamic duo. Think of it like Batman. Most of the time, you get regular Bruce Wayne. He's fast, he's efficient, he gets the job done for everyday questions. This is the standard GPT-5 mode. But when things get really tricky, when you need some deep, complex problem solving, it switches into full Batman mode. This is called GPT-5 thinking, the heavy-duty brain that puts on its cowl and gets serious. It's designed for the tough stuff, the kind of questions that make you go, So how does it decide whether to be the chill billionaire or the brooding hero? It uses something called an auto-router. This little digital traffic cop tries to figure out how hard your question is in real time. If you ask it for a simple recipe, it sends you to the quick and easy model. But if you ask it to solve world hunger or explain the ending of Inception, it's supposed to call in the big guns. You can even give it a hint by saying something like, "Think hard about this," which is basically the AI equivalent of lighting up the bat signal. It's a pretty cool system in theory. The problem is, this auto-router is sometimes as reliable as my Wi-Fi during a storm. Users have found it making some seriously silly mistakes. You could ask it something super basic, like, how many E's are in the word cheese? And the router might decide this is a simple task not worthy of its thinking mode. The result? The quick model panics and gives you a completely wrong answer, like one. It's like calling a 5-star chef and having them tell you to just put ketchup on everything. People have posted examples of it struggling with simple math, like comparing 9.11 to 9.9, proving that even a superbrain can get tripped up on the small stuff. And who gets to play with this new, occasionally confused toy? Pretty much everyone. OpenAI made GPT-5 available to all users, even those on the free plan, which is pretty awesome. If you're a paying subscriber, you just get more of it with higher usage limits. However, there was a little drama. When GPT-5 rolled out, some people lost access to the older models they knew and loved, like GPT-4o. It was like your favorite restaurant changing its menu without warning. People were sad. OpenAI heard the complaints and is now looking into letting Plus users keep their old robot friends, which is a relief for anyone who wasn't ready to say goodbye. So, what does the Internet Court of Public Opinion have to say about GPT-5? The reactions have been a very mixed bag. which is a polite way of saying people are either planning its parade or sharpening their pitchforks. On one side, you have folks like Matthew Berman who are calling it a big step change for things like coding. They're seeing it do incredible things, writing complex programs and solving problems that would take a human hours. These are the people who are already using GPT-5 to build the future, and they are absolutely loving the upgrade. They see the genius and are willing to look past its little quirks. But on the other side of the ring, you have people who are less than impressed. Some prominent figures like Imad Mostak apparently took one look at GPT-5 and decided to go back to using other models like Grok 4 Heavy. This is the AI equivalent of breaking up with someone after one date because they chewed their food too loudly. These users are pointing to benchmarks where GPT-5, especially when its thinking mode isn't active, actually performs worse than older models. They came expecting a revolution, and instead felt like they got a minor software update with a few extra bugs for good measure. The performance numbers tell a similar story of highs and lows. When GPT-5 is in its thinking hard mode, it's a beast. It scores impressively on tough exams and shows massive improvements in specialized areas like health, where it's much better at giving safe and accurate information. But when it's just coasting in its default mode, it can be a bit of a slacker. On some tests, it barely beats its predecessors and even falls behind competitors like Gemini and Claude. It's like having a student who's capable of getting an A+, but often turns in C- work because they didn't feel like trying. This has led to some hilarious and frustrating moments for the community. You have people celebrating its ability to write a beautiful sonnet about a toaster, right next to people complaining that it was jailbroken almost immediately. Someone even got it to leak its own system prompt, which is like a magician revealing their own trick on day one. Then there are the viral posts showing it failing at simple logic puzzles or getting basic facts wrong. It's this weird mix of superhuman intelligence and silly facepalm moments that has everyone scratching their heads and asking, is this thing a genius or an idiot? With this roller coaster of a launch, what's next for our new AI overlord? Well, OpenAI has basically said, our bad, we're working on it. They've acknowledged that the auto-router needs to go to obedience school and learn when to switch on the big brain. They're planning to make it much clearer which model you're using, so you'll know if you're talking to the genius or its slightly less motivated twin. They also want to make it easier to manually trigger the thinking mode, so you don't have to rely on a digital gatekeeper that's easily confused. Plus, for paying users, they're doubling the rate limits as a little apology gift. The competition, of course, is loving this. Elon Musk basically saw the bumpy rollout and yelled, "Hold my beer," announcing that Grok 5 will be out soon and will be crushingly good. The AI race is getting spicier than my auntie's curry, and every company is trying to one-up the others. While OpenAI is busy fixing the glitches in GPT-5, its rivals are working hard to steal the spotlight. This is great news for us, the users, because it means all these tech giants will be fighting to give us the best, smartest, and hopefully least confusing robot assistant possible. So here we are, standing at a weird crossroads in history. We have an AI that is simultaneously smart enough to pass the bar exam and dumb enough to fail a first-grade spelling test. It can write complex code but gets tripped up counting letters. It's a paradox wrapped in an enigma, coded in Python. Some experts argue that standard tests don't even capture where GPT-5 truly shines, which is in abstract thinking and coming up with brand new ideas, the stuff that's hard to measure but incredibly valuable. Maybe we're just not asking it the right questions yet. In the end, the big question remains, is GPT-5 going to take our jobs, or is it just going to help us with our homework? For now, it seems like the answer is a bit of both. It's a powerful tool that can do amazing things, but it's still very much a work in progress. It's not the flawless, all-knowing oracle we were promised, but more like a brilliant but quirky intern who needs a little guidance. So rest easy. The robots aren't replacing us just yet. They might just be making our lives a whole lot more interesting and occasionally hilariously frustrating.